Okay, as we kind of start up our regular little bit of a 20-second interlude before we start the Car Guy and SIXFAN show here, Season 6, Episode 3. We got a big show tonight, and we were just backstage, or kind of the green room, or whatever you want to call it, and having a good old laugh before we go live. So we're going to start this thing. My name is Jason. I am Olde Carr Guy here on YouTube. This is the Car Guy and SIXFAN show. Welcome to the show. Tonight, I am only half of the show here tonight. I've got my guest right over here beside me.
Or co-host, I suppose, maybe another way to introduce myself, but I am a SIXFAN of this operation, straight SIXFAN on YouTube. Grant Tommy is my name, but we're most excited about, and really, honestly, I'm only 1/3 of the operation, because down below us, we have the fine folks from the Get Out and Drive podcast. We'll let them introduce themselves to you guys.
I am Shawn, Mr. Sedan Man Sherrill.
I am John, custom car nerd Meyer.
Guys, thanks for joining us for the Car Guy and SIXFAN show. Before we jump right into the heavy questions of the night, we want to jump over to the chat. Grant, we want to welcome everybody in the chat who is there.
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, we've got Robert's Garage, Paul's Speed Shop, our friend Luke over at Coastal Auto Reaction, Darren's Mopar Express, Gary Mathis, and we have some others, but thanks, Will's Wheels, Uncle Squirrel. And so thanks everybody for carving some time out of your Thursday to hang out with us here, 7 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. But Jason, I'll turn it over to you, and let's get this show started.
Okay, so one of the first questions I wanted to ask you guys, just simply because I only recently found you a few months back, but I'm sure there's some guys out there who know exactly who you are. For those who don't, tell us a little bit about what Get Out and Drive is.
Yeah, Get Out and Drive podcast. Basically, John and I got together, and we were always talking cars and stuff, and our wives got tired of listening to us, so we did the mic on and start a podcast. Sometimes we just talk nonsense, and sometimes we interview people in the industry. We talk about cars and getting youth involved, and
it's sometimes it's just a bench racing session.
Yeah, mostly it's a bench racing session.
You ever sat behind a car with a guy and he tells you how fast his car used to be? And that's what we do.
Yeah,
we grab our other shows and want to ask people things about their cars and all that stuff. Well, we don't care about that. We ask them why. What got them going? What was their spark? What makes them tick?
Yeah, because everybody started from somewhere. They playing with Hot Wheels or building model cars or something, and we kind of want to know why they like cars, why they're into cars, why they're in the industry, how they got into the industry, and just kind of push that down to the next generation to help them kind of build an interest in the hobby and in the industry, and pull more people in.
And I think my first exposure to you guys probably came more through, I think he was on season 3 here on our show, Jacob Ross Davis, in your decals. Just the phrasing of Get Out and Drive, just the whole movement of, you know what, if you got the car, just get out and drive, like go drive it. That's what they're meant to be. And then stumbled upon you guys in form of a podcast. And so I guess my question for you, having said on what you just said, what would you find, in my opinion, like it's really hard for me to just listen to a podcast about cars because the visual is such a strong thing about the car portion. But what topics have you found most successful in podcast form when it comes to talking about cars?
Car history.
Yeah.
And certain key people that are in the industry that have big things to do with car history. Mr. Model T always follow him on all social media, Mr. Model T.
Yeah. He's got a pretty incredible story about his Model T. He built a period correct gow job. And it's just so awesome.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It fooled me. I thought it was a restoration. And it was this kid in his early 20s that was building this absolutely perfect pre-war Model T. It was fantastic. And I would not think he would be interested in any of this stuff. And somehow he is, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's cool to listen to people's backstory of we used to do. We've interviewed some older people that really have a history that ordered cars new in like 1970, and they know what options they could have ordered in,
and people
packages.
that still have their cars. We've interviewed a lot of people that they tell us the experience about getting out of Vietnam, coming back, seeing advertisements for muscle cars and saying that's what I got to have. It is about cars. It is about being able to get out and drive. It's a lot having to do with the people,
right?
Because our slogan is what drives you. I want to know, you drive this car, it's sheet metal, rubber, and glass. Who cares about it? It's a thing. It's like, it might as well be like an appliance, like a refrigerator. When it brings you from point A to point B, gets you to, who cares? Why do you want it? Why do you want it customized? Why do you even care a lick about any of this stuff? That's kind of our core stuff. What drives you?
So you kind of hit that nail on the head a little bit for me. It's a great segue into my next question, because that's what I wanted to ask you guys. But before I do that, I want to thank Coastal Auto Reaction for $6.99 Super Chat. I really appreciate that, Luke. And Stuff with Cletus had $1 in there as well. Thank you so much, guys, for these Super Chats. We are keeping track of Super Chats this year, and we'll be making sure that you guys do not go unnoticed. So, John and Shawn, each of you, I'll get you guys back with your own question. What drives you?
Go ahead.
I mean, just a passion for cars in general. I mean, my day job is I'm a restoration mechanic, and I've been working on cars. I started working on cars as a teenager out of necessity, and I don't know. It's just some sort of weird obsession in my head that to build something bigger, better, faster. You get in a car, and your personality will change depending on what kind of car you're in. You get into just a daily driver pickup, and you're just a commuter driving down the road. I get in my 65 Chevelle that thumps and shakes the car next to me, and I'm a different person, and I feel cooler, and I don't know how else to explain that, but yeah, but I love cars, and I just would like to pass my love on to other people the best that I can.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to say something. And one reason why Shawn and I work together off each other, he's in the mechanical side and likes a lot of muscle cars and stuff. I've always been, and I'm a 30-year restoration mechanic and restoration auto body tech, cut, weld, chop, change stuff, whatever. And I love, tail draggers, white walls, skirts, that type of stuff. And Shawn I'm starting to teach him a little about style and what makes cars pop and why this car is great.
Muscle cars have a lot of style.
I know. I'm trying to teach you about what my stuff is, and Shawn teaches me about the muscle cars, and it works off each other. The other at work I had an electrical problem, and I go, electric, and Shawn helped me.
I fixed it.
Shawn did fix it. Exactly. And then, I get grease on me, and I run around the shop going, it's on me. Yeah. And I don't want it. And that's how we work together. He doesn't come to my side.
Yeah, I don't like dust.
He doesn't like dust. And I don't like grease. It gets on me. It's ooky. But kind of what drives me is having the talent and the ability to customize and change a car, it look more cool. And I have this stupid, and I know other people do, I have this stupid, unbelievable thing in my brain, and I have to take something that's rusty and fix it and make it cool. I know there's billions of cars in the world, but somehow I want to fix each and every one. It's like a lost puppy. I got to fix this and then move on to the next one.
Oh yeah. John and I are always sending cars back and forth to each other. We need to save this one. We need to save that one. And we need this as a project. And yeah, you've got couple projects.
I do.
I've got a couple projects, and we're always still looking for the next one.
Right.
My first job out of college, I'm an architect, and I got into historic preservation on the building side, and right towards the end, when I was about to take my second job, the whole historic preservation movement started circa 1960. So we were and they set up the rules that anything that was 50 years old would qualify. But then we got to the point that the whole movement, the mid-century modern that was ruining ornament and all these old buildings, all of a sudden was 50 years old. So it was this like ironic twist of like, now we have to start preserving the things that we were trying to protect ourselves against. And so what it taught me was like sometimes even bad examples of things, bad examples of style, bad examples of automotive styling or something. You still got to save even the derelicts and the unwanteds. And that's kind of what drives me. I'd like to talk about offbeat hot rodding. So many times you go to car shows, you see the same thing over and over. So I appreciate kind of what you just said, that, you know, you just see a car, you're like, no, we got to save that one too. We got to save this one. We got to save that one. So I can very much relate to that. And you guys talked about how automotive history is maybe one of your strongest topics, you know, on your podcast. Jason and I, about a year ago, kind of dove into 2-part series deep into the history of AMC. And that was one of the most fascinating things we've ever done. We didn't deliver very well on our end, but it was super fascinating.
Well, very quickly, can you tell me what AMC stands for? There's an acronym. What's AMC stand for?
American Motor Company.
That stands for all makes combined.
The mutt is the mutt of the
automobile.
They were, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's crazy. You could see it's almost as bad as a checker marathon, you know, that has a Chevy Chevette steering wheel on a Chrysler steering column, and you're like, ah.
Oh, that reminds me. I found a marathon wagon we needed to save. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Oh, good. Anyway, back to the show.
Well, I guess where I was ultimately just going to ask, like, so what's each of your favorite, I guess, derelict car or you know, one that didn't make it as long as it should have?
Mustang 2. See, look, he's going like this.
Yeah,
Mustang 2 all day long. Mustang 2, 78 Cobra, probably brown with orange interior. Mustang 2.
Yeah. Well. I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite, but I do own a 1952 Willys Aerolark.
What the hell is that?
It's a Willys Aerolark.
What? No one knows what that car is.
Somebody knows what it is.
No.
Look it up if you don't.
No.
They're cool.
It's very low mileage, by the way, because no one want to be seen in.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. They only made them. They only made them in the United States from like 51 to 55, I think.
Mm-hmm. Reason for that? What?
And then they moved to South America and produced companies, I think. But yeah, Brazil's got a lot of cool cars that we just can't get up here.
Sweet.
I'm a little jealous about.
We got to go to Brazil.
But yeah, that's the mutt that I'm currently saving right now, I guess.
I know this is live, but can you guys just hang on a second? I'm going to look up stuff in Brazil. And I'm gonna look up.
Do they have Facebook Marketplace in Brazil?
In Brazil. Yeah, you guys just
junk in Brazil, maybe.
You just carry on. I'm gonna look up some junk, see if there's anything in Brazil.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on the day. I don't. Vegas are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mustang 2 is not so much on my, but
Corvette Camback. 75 Corvette Camback.
I'm going to go with no because I don't fit too well into a Corvette.
Yeah, that's true. We have had several of those. We don't fit in them.
I proved that once again today.
Yeah, he took the T-tops off and he's sticking out of it like, you know, Santa Claus, big giant Santa Claus in one of them tiny Hot Wheels. You see him sticking out like a Christmas ornament. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah. You seen a monkey ride a bicycle?
Yeah, that's me driving a Corvette.
Yes, exactly.
So we have popped up on the screen there.
Good gravy.
Willys Aerolark. I've never ever in my life heard of one, but there it is. They do exist, almost like Santa Claus used to.
See, it wasn't lying.
On the rails here too.
I've got one of those. It's not.
Oh man.
Yeah. Somebody put one together for 24 hours of lemons.
Yes.
The Adequate Willys or something like that. I think they named it.
Nice. Nice.
But they're just a little bitty car, and I don't know, found it years ago. Just had to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, one of those things that you just can't live without.
Yeah. Sometimes I lose sleep at night building it in my head, trying to figure out how I want to build it.
That is true. Yeah, he showed me one the other day that was 392 Chrysler powered.
Yes.
And engine setback and straight axle and radius wheel wells and I just responded to him. I know a guy that has all those parts.
Yeah.
He's just not building it currently.
It needs to happen, but anyhow.
I knew you'd regret calling us and saying, "Hey, would you be on my show?"
Not at all. As soon as they picked up the phone, I knew it was going to be a good show. Who does that anymore?
Nice.
Who picks up the phone?
What's a
just
phone? Next, you're
quick
going to say
shameless-
landline.
I faxed you and you didn't reply. So a quick
yeah, exactly.
shameless
I
plug
faxed you an
here.
email.
Guys, if you are into sticker collecting, go ahead and shoot any one of us an email, because I know the boys that Get Out and Drive have stickers. They're more than happy to send you some. Grant also has some. I've got some. If you're another channel and you want to do a sticker swap, just holler at us, because we've got lots of stickers. We want to get our names out there, get our brand out there. I wanted to talk a little bit about history for a moment. And I do recall about a little while ago, John, you talked about replying to, or being the guy who needs to dive in to get information, to educate yourself. And you replied to a Facebook post with all the knowledge that you had in your brain, trying to prove somebody wrong. Can you just elaborate on who that was you were trying to prove wrong, and just go ahead and into that story a little bit?
Well, so I was looking up some information about what is the correct nose stripe. You know, a D91 nose stripe for a 68 Camaro. Or is this 60? I think 69. Anyway, looking for this nose stripe, right? So I'm looking it up on the old interwebs, and I'm going through, and I finally get to, Camaro forum, and I'm looking for this thing, and I look and I go, man, what is this? This guy's a jerk. And he's going through and he's explaining everything about it. And I look, oh my God, it's me. It was.
So you're right. That guy was a jerk.
It was a jerk. It was me from like 2015 or 2016 on this forum. And I asked a question because I was looking at pictures, and then I looked at the repair manual, and I'm looking at everything, and nothing matches. And there's pictures of people saying, this is my original car. And then there's two guys arguing if they're not the right thing and this and that. And then I went through, and the only person that can answer my own question, even back then, was me. And I'm looking through, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's a jerk. Well, it was me.
But you got your answer right.
I'm the jerk, and I did have the answer. It was awesome.
You proved
never answered my own question.
Proved everybody wrong, even yourself, in one post. With that,
yes, that is exactly correct, and it was fantastic. Yeah, exactly. Well, and we always see the. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, welcome to the show, Harnet's Garage. I'm guessing that's maybe one of your guys' followers. I believe new to the Car Guy and Six Fan show. So just wanted to make mention and welcome them to the chat. And Dudes with Wrenches has dropped in as well. But sorry, you were saying, John.
Yeah, see there, Paul's Speed Shop. Thumbs up for the Mustang too. Yes, thank you, Paul's Speed Shop. I'm watching that. So there's got to be some people.
Pay no attention to him.
There are other people out there that like Mustang 2s, and even worse, there's people that own Yugos.
Oh, there are people that do own Yugos.
So.
Oh my God! I went to an art exhibit one time, and they chopped the hell out of those things. One guy made a telephone out of it.
So you can make something useful out of a Yugo.
Yes, you can make something useful out of a Yugo. If you just take it and you rub it on, that thing runs all day. Anyway, I always see people. I saw the meme the other day. The guy from The Incredibles, the big guy's typing on the computer screen.
Oh yeah,
and it said Bob.
Yeah,
and it said, "This is me looking up information on the internet about a 90-year-old engine, and hoping to find out information about people that know the information that are too old and don't use the internet." It's ridiculous, and we run into that all the time.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, we do talk to people that don't necessarily spend a lot of time on the internet, but have a lot of information that they like to share, and they will do it on a podcast.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, we have one man that's going to be coming up that is an absolute unbelievable wealth of information of George Barris cars. I think he's got like 13 running George Barris cars, and he's got a big giant collection of memorabilia and all that stuff. And he used to be on the internet. Now he is radio silence. He absolutely will not share any of his information. So he's going to be on the internet
because he had some bad experience.
He had some bad experiences,
kind of slamming him, and he just decided to pull the plug and just he didn't need that kind of drama.
Yeah, people were
But-
complaining that he was restoring his cars to make them get out and drive. And other people thought they should be a certain way. And he said,
Right.
nope, and went,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
out.
got Bears cars and he likes to drive them.
Yes. And it's fantastic.
So, yeah.
Does not own a trailer.
Well, I kind of want to piggyback on those types of people, these wealth of knowledge
Mhm.
people, and even going back to something you guys said earlier, talking about the human side of things of these interviews,
Right.
and trying to humanize some of these stories, and talking about the
Mhm.
the war vet who came back from Vietnam. One of my favorite documentaries out there right now on YouTube. I want to say it's Haggerty's, but about the Black Ghost,
Mhm.
the triple black Dodge Challenger that just
Yep. Very familiar with that.
and then his friend, the original owner's friend, is telling stories, like they're fish stories, right? You guys were talking about that earlier
Mhm.
too, like always
Yes.
trying to talk about how fast your car was. Well, no one was around to prove me wrong, kind of thing. But I just
exactly.
love.
The older I
love-
get, the faster my car was.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be breaking nines with my Fairmont here pretty soon.
Yes.
When I
Sweet, send us the
turn
video.
67. When I turn 67, it runs a 15.9
Nice.
now, but by the time anyway.
Nice.
Oh, you're close then.
Yeah. There's a little lever on the bottom of the dashboard. It says brake, e-brake, emergency brake. Pull that.
Yeah, turn the
give that a
AC off
shot.
too. That'll help it get a little faster.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
I've definitely flipped the air
But yeah,
cleaner lid upside down too.
Oh yes, yes.
That'll do it. That'll do it. I did that when I was 16 in my friend's mom's car.
I don't think I ever did that on a car. I had some
You didn't?
friends that did, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the performance gain in their cars, so I
You still do it.
went with something. I went with something more like
Yeah.
tunnel rams and stuff
I
like that.
put
but-
78 Z28 wheels and flipped the air cleaner lid over on my buddy's mom's 4-door, like a 78 Impala. Oh yeah, we drove that around. We were the awesome people in the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
That's
Yeah,
what you told yourself. Sure.
that's exactly what we
Yeah.
told ourselves. Yeah,
Anyhow,
Well,
Yes.
well, what I was gonna ask was, actually, I went to a car show with my Fairmont and ran into a gentleman much like this guy in that documentary. He was the lone guy at the local GM plant here in Kansas City who drove a 62 Ford, to the parking lot, and he was talking about his 4-speed 392 Galaxy or Fairlane, I forget. And
Sure.
just how, like, he caught hell all day at work, but he's like, come 4:30. Nobody wanted to be coming down that road because all we did is we just raced. And boy, I should have bunched people up. So I'm just curious if you guys have any good from your time on your podcast. What's maybe one of the most memorable kind of fish stories or stories you've heard from a guest?
I don't know if we have any that we've interviewed people that are like had their crazy vintage lie story.
no, I can't think of any.
I did talk to one lady at a car show, and she was, I can't remember what kind of car I was driving or whatever, but she was just, average 60-year-old, elderly cougar kind of gal, big blue eyeshadow and everything. And she was telling me about how she was driving along in her 76 Camaro, and some guy next to her came with a Corvette, and she pushed a button and aired up the air shocks in the back of her car and hammered it, and she won. And she was telling me this big elaborate story about how she pushed a button and raised these air shocks in the back of her car, and it made her car faster.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, you should have heard her tell it. It was fantastic. It was like I was there with her.
I've never heard anybody talk about air shocks making a car faster.
Or go up in the air when you push the button.
Yeah.
Well, if you think of it,
interesting.
if her car had a spoiler, she's just getting that up into the good air,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
If it's like
Now
an
it
airplane
makes
wing, it's
sense.
got
It
to.
does.
Anyway,
Mhm.
guys, at
Oh
this point,
my.
this is the time where we want to open up the chat to some questions for John and or Shawn.
Mhm.
So if you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll try and get as many of those answered as possible. So one of the things I did want to ask, I already know, but for those who don't, Shawn and John, you both can answer. What is your current
Mhm.
ride? What is your get out and drive ride today?
Currently, I have a 65 Chevelle. It's a 496 big block board and stroke 4-speed, and I've had that one since '93. It's actually how John and I met, because I don't do body work. I ended up running into John, and he did the body work and paint on it, and I did all the mechanical on it. And we kind of just clicked from there. And I also have a 68 C10 that I call Saddle Tramp. It's a patina truck, original 27 400 turbo, kind of crusty on the outside, nice on the inside. We put all new interior and everything in it, and static drop a lot.
Yeah. The control arms touch the ground every now and then.
Every now and then. But
Air up the air shocks when needed.
Oh God!
Yes.
No air shocks.
Exactly.
No air shocks. No.
Exactly.
I don't need it going that fast. So, but
all 725 horsepower of that old dilapidated 327.
Yeah. It's 72 horsepower.
I had my decimal point in the wrong spot. I'm sorry.
72 and a half.
I'm sorry.
But
I can't. I got in my glasses.
But yeah, either one of those cars. I took the Chevelle on Power Tour back in 2015, and the truck I drive pretty much everywhere nowadays. And that's what I've got. I've got the 52 Willys Aerolark as a project that may or may not happen someday. Hopefully it will. Yeah. And that's what I got.
I have, I don't know if you've seen it, a 72 Maverick named Cynthia, 6-cylinder automatic, original paint car, rusty on top, just absolutely cooked, burnt on top. It's dark green, 2-door black interior. And I drive the wheels off of that thing. I have a 76 C10 that is General Crusted. It's tan. And that's a little project thing. We're going to work together and kind of make that thing happen.
Yep.
I have a 1933 Plymouth 4-door sedan. That car has been in my family since 1970. And I remember driving that car around, driving in the car as a toddler with my dad. And I was stupid enough. I remember standing up in the back seat, and I was holding on to the driver's seat. It has 4 suicide doors. I reached over and grabbed the rear door, the left rear door, and opened it. And my dad reached back, and he grabbed me and pulled me in the front, and he shut the back door. And I don't think he drove that car much after that. He never told my mom until they moved in 2009. He never told her that happened. But yeah, I have a couple cars. I've been seeing my old cars pop up for sale. I had the very first Air Ride Colorado bagged. We built a 2004 Colorado in 2003, and we had it outdone, leather interior, billet wheels and everything. And then it disappeared. We sold it in like 2000, 10, something like that. And it's gone, disappeared. Well, it popped up on Marketplace, and somebody bought it, and then they chased me down because it was on the cover of every magazine and stuff. They chased me down and found that thing, and that was kind of cool to see that again. I had a Pro Street Cutlass, 80 Cutlass that just popped up on Marketplace, and it's in New Jersey. So kind of cool. We got little stuff here and there.
Yep.
Well, earlier, Jason mentioned, again, if anybody wants to reach out to us to get a sticker or swap stickers, hit us up, either, direct messages via Instagram or email. I did want to say hello to, it was Country Boy Gas Garage said hello. And he is a gentleman who sent me a sticker. Then I sent him a sticker without putting the zip code on his letter, and then I could never find. So Country Boy Gas Garage, I don't even remember how we connected over what device, but if you could just send me your address again, I'll get you a sticker sent out. I haven't forgotten about you, so welcome. Thanks for joining in. But John, one of the things I'm trying to, and Jason, I work with the Jason, I haven't seen any questions come in from the haven't seen any questions come in from the chat at the moment, but so correct me if I'm wrong. But I was going to ask you. You sort of hinted there, John, about messing up mom's car. Do you have a favorite story of the parents' car before you had your own?
Oh man, I hate to admit this, but I took my driver's test in an '84 Mercury Tempo. Or Mercury Topaz.
You do not hate to admit that, because I've heard this story many times.
Yes. I took my driver's test in an '84 Mercury Topaz. And I was, are you guys familiar with Rocky Horror Picture Show? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, was going to a live, they used to have them in St. Louis all the time at midnight, live Rocky Horror Picture Show
At the Tivoli.
Yeah. And it had a Tivoli and had an Avalon. But anyway, I was at the Tivoli, and afterwards, I'm going through the alleys because there's just traffic everywhere. I'm going through the alleys behind the Tivoli, and the alley dumps out into a road. And then it goes to the next one. So there's cars everywhere. So I'm blowing down these alleys, right? And I've got like 6 people in this car. And I go blowing across the street to the next alley. Well, there was no drop down for the entrance to the alley. I just blew across the street, and these giant cinder block curbs in St. Louis. I just took the oil pan completely off the bottom of this car and just ruined it. And did I stop? No. Didn't stop. No, I drove that sucker home, and I told my dad the car's broken. And after he stopped beating me in the face and asking me why, that was like a Saturday, and we took the car Saturday night. We took the car to the local dealer. And remember how earlier I was telling you in St. Louis, there's like little suburbs, and most of it's gunfire in South St. Louis City and stuff. Took it to a dealership in the city, and the person who towed it couldn't get into the dealership because they weren't open on Sunday. So they leave the street. They left it on Kings Highway, which is not a good street, by the way. And as it was sitting there overnight, someone broke the grill out of it, cut the hood lock, opened it up, stole the battery out of it. So all of that subsequently is my fault now.
Well, yeah. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you.
Thanks, Dad. But yeah, it is just completely just a terrorizing thing that happened to me. And so my dad goes there on Monday, and they tell him, "Sir, your car's been all broken into and everything." And my dad's a pretty nice guy. He goes, "None of that is my problem." He goes, "This is secure and your lot is not secure. And I left my car with you." He said, "I'm going to the new car thing." And they said, "Sir, we're going to repair your car." He said, "Maybe you didn't hear me. I'm going to the new car thing, and you get this piece of junk. And I'm going to the new car thing, and I'm going to go buy one. Then I'm going to come back, and then we're going to trade in my junk with no battery and no grill for this new car." And it was quite the fun to watch my father do that.
So I don't know if you guys get if they sand your streets in the wintertime, but we get a lot of it up here in Canada. So in our town, we've got a local traffic circle, and I used to drive my dad's truck. I think I put probably 25,000 miles on it in 1 year on them just because I drove it endlessly. So it's spring of the year. I'm coming around the traffic circle, and that left rear wheel just miraculously breaks loose. And I'm thinking to myself, I can go with this. So I continue around the traffic circle, smoke, dust, squealing tires. And once I finally get around, and I said, "I'm going to stop now." I pull up, and when the dust settles, the red and blues are following up behind me. And the police officer knew my dad really well. My dad was a businessman. He says, "Mr. Carr, how do you think your father would feel if I told him how you were treating his truck?" I said, "I probably wouldn't make it to the next grade." He says, "Well, why don't we take the truck home, and I won't tell your dad." I'm like, "Okay, sorry, goodbye." So I didn't tear off a oil pan, and I didn't lose the battery in the wheels or whatever it was there. So I just, well, I think we all have some story that we could tell. And we could probably sit here all night and tell those stories, but I'm not going to incriminate myself.
That's all that Shawn and I do. We make sure and we trade stories back and forth, and then we get a guest, and then they give us our wacky stories of something that they did.
We love breakdown stories.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's got one. Everybody's been on the side of the road trying to MacGyver something back together.
Right. And it's fantastic to see what people have done. We one guy that like took some kind of a piece off of the
telephone pole,
off a telephone guide wire, little yellow thing and a guide wire, and did
Yep.
something to fix his car.
Yeah.
And he went one way and his wife went the other way. He's like, "You need to get this piece of steel and a wire tie, and I'm going over here and stealing this thing off of this electrical pole." She says, "What?"
Yep. And they got to fix and boom, right back on the
Right,
road.
got to have it fixed.
Yeah.
Because it was something for a U joint, or it needed a seal or some kind of something. And he was
Shifter cable.
it was a shifter
Yep.
cable?
Paul said it was a shifter
Paul
cable.
says it was a shifter cable.
Yep.
But yeah, that is absolutely amazing. So it's just ridiculous. I made a heat shield for an airbag out of a blown big rig tire and a soda can and some zip ties on the side of the road. I did that once. That's fun.
Jason, earlier, I think the Coastal Auto Reaction had asked the question if you guys had done any work for a magazine, maybe wrote any editorials or any type of thing. I'm guessing it kind of spawned off the Colorado build, but have you guys done any actual work on your end for a magazine?
Oh, I don't think Shawn has.
I have not.
My wife and I have been professional photographers for several different car magazines. I think we've probably been about in 50 or more car magazines since probably 2003, 2004. Sport trucks, street trucks, mini trucking, everything that ran the gamut of the old Prime Media stuff. We did a lot with them, and that turned over to Super Chevy and Chevy High Performance and that type of stuff. And we've been still kept in contact with everybody as the magazines have been falling off. We've still been in contact with them, our editor friends and things like that, and still been doing content for their websites and magazines and things. So yes, that's a long answer to a short question. I'm sorry.
Oh no. That's how it works. We put in the little work and you guys bail us out. So that's how this operation works.
Nice.
Short question, long answer is
cool.
Great.
I thought they was bailing us out. But.
They are.
Okay.
Well, 3 bailouts make I don't know. But I was a Sport Truck magazine subscriber around circa 2003, 2004 era. So I'm sure I've seen some of your work.
Yeah, we did a ton of stuff. I did a Top Chop article that says how to chop your top right. I did a white S10 single cab, and I chopped it using all stock glass. And people didn't believe me. I still get emails, still get calls about that, because my shop was Clean Cut Creations in St. Louis, and we were doing Colorado air ride suspension parts, control arms, gas tank cross members, tons of stuff for Colorado, roll pans, a bunch of stuff, tailgate handle flip kits. Did a article called Chivalry is Dead at Chevrolet, because Colorado didn't come with a keyhole on the passenger side of their truck. So we found that they could, on the cheapest one, had a keyhole. So we started building a kit, and we sold a kit that way to put a keyhole on the right-hand side of your Colorado. And we did an article for Super Chevy called Striped Right. And that was, I designed a stripe stencil that was much better looking on the 5th gen Camaros than anything the factory ever had. And that took off pretty well. We sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those kits. But yeah, the magazines help with promotion and stuff, but we do pretty much the same stuff. Instead of tangible, something you can hold in your hand, we're just doing it now 99% digital.
So we do have a question that came in from Brian over at Harrison's Rod and Custom, and he's asking you guys if you have any plans to get out to some shows and film or record on location. Now, I know that you guys not too long ago were out to the Street Machine Nationals and did some things there. Any further plans to get out and do some shows?
Yeah, as long as it's not 100 and something degrees. So I'd rather be driving my car than sitting at shows for the most part. Sitting on asphalt when it's 100 degrees, this doesn't really thrill me anymore. But yeah, I mean, we got
we were tossing around C10 Nationals.
Yeah, talking about that, going down for that. There's a couple others we're talking about.
We just went to Great Race.
Went to the Great Race.
And then interviewed those girls. They won.
Mm-hmm.
You did see that, right? The little 2 teenage little girls that won the Great Race, like shut everybody down. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, we plan on getting out and interviewing some more people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll follow our social media and we'll post up where we're going to be and
I think
what we're going to.
interviews that we haven't posted up.
Right.
Different.
Yeah.
Been trying to drive out to Arcola, Illinois. Show with Cutter people. We're trying to get out and hit some places we haven't been before.
Small
see some
town
cars.
stuff.
Yeah. See some cars we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
Because you guys probably know you stay in your own area enough.
Right.
You
see the same
cars
10
over and over.
cars,
Yeah.
1,000 times.
There's a few that comes out that's different, but
Right.
for the most part, it's kind of the same thing. So
Right.
we're trying to get out and drive and see some different stuff.
Right.
Well, we'll try to start wrapping up here. We do have one other question.
Mhm.
I've got one last question for you guys, but before I get to the last question, we'll sneak one in from Coastal Auto Reaction. Were you guys at SEMA in 16 or 17?
No, I was not
No.
there.
Okay.
Last time I went to SEMA was 2005. That's been a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Never been.
Well,
No,
the
never
last
been.
question I have for the both of you guys would be, we always try to ask a like YouTube tip or trick, but I think I'll zoom out one maybe a little bit further out since you guys had your podcast too. So, you could take it down the YouTube route or you could take it down the podcast route. What's maybe one of the learning curve things or one of the things, hey, I wished we would have known that sooner. What's maybe a piece of advice you could give to these other creators in the chat tonight?
Anything you can think of.
I mean, everything you learn, you always wish you'd known it before.
Well, you kind of learn on the fly, I'm
yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, we just kind of jumped in with both feet and figured out what a podcast was on Tuesday, and we started recording on Wednesday. So
Right.
but
That's you remember
that's
Office
just kinda-
Space, they had to look up money laundering in the dictionary.
yeah, but that's just kind of how we do things.
That's what we did. We looked up podcasts.
Yeah,
And then it said what it was, and then I did a query
yeah,
on the Siri query,
yeah.
and then they told me what a podcast was, and then I think we bought microphones, and then we started, and I think we had like 2 listeners. Now we have more.
Yeah.
3.
But that's just kind of how we do everything. We kind of jump off the cliff, and as John puts, figure out how to build a parachute on the way down.
Yeah, with what's in your pocket.
Yeah, with what's in your pocket, kind of MacGyver together a parachute, kind of like driving an old car that has been running for 30 seconds. Let's drive it across the state. And
What is the first thing?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Right.
What's the first thing you do when you drive a car and it hasn't been driven? We get a no start, hasn't been driven for like 50 years. You drive around the block, no parts fall off. You
Mhm.
just hammer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if no parts fall off, you're good.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
That's right.
Go wrong.
Right.
Go wrong.
Yeah. But for what I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, we're always learning something. I mean, whether it's the podcast or I learn something new every day, regardless whether it's the podcast or something else. But
social media marketing, social media and YouTube marketing. Don't stand there on top of your house or wherever your office is and scream, "I have a podcast." Get out, and where you have people that do the same thing as you do, there's so many people that are so close-minded. Go to another person's podcast and say, "Hey, dude, I listen to your thing. It's cool."
Mhm.
And don't say anything. Don't say, "Hey, listen to me." And people will soon go, "Oh, maybe that guy's not a jerk," unless he talks about Camaro stripes.
Right.
But
Yeah, people learn soon enough that you're a jerk. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah.
Shh.
anyhow.
Anyway,
Yeah, we need to
you
really
can
shut
edit
the
it out,
show
right?
down
This isn't
before
live.
the crowd figures it out.
Yeah, nice. All right. Anyway, but yeah, just go to other people's stuff, and if you have like-minded people, talk with them and say, "Hey, this is what I like doing." Compliment other people, and I don't see that a lot in social media. I see people that are very narrow-minded and people that don't want to share information. We're ready to share information, and other social media outlets and people and other pages, either Facebook or Instagram or, for God's sakes, even TikTok. There's people that say, "Oh, hey, your things are cool." And that kind of means something to me.
Mhm.
And I go look at that guy's profile and I go, "Oh man, this guy's got cool stuff. Follow."
Mhm.
And I think that's really helpful. And that's how we've gotten a lot of our people. If that can be my little snippet of a trick for somebody, if you're out, man, mingle. Social media is the reason to be social.
Yes.
Mingle, get yourself out there, and trust me, if you have your stuff marketed right and you've got a cool logo and you've got consistency, people will follow you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've tried to promote here with our show is bringing the community together, like-minded people, talking cars, and getting out and meeting new people. Even if you're not able to physically get out and do that, YouTube and this show kind of brings people together, sort of like your podcast brings like-minded people together who have a common interest. So before we get ready to kind of wind down for the night, I do want to kind of ask around the table here. We'll start with Grant with some of the anything upcoming that we want to share with some of these guys who are watching us that's coming to Straight Six Fan YouTube channel in the near future.
Yeah, so just like last week when life got busy and didn't get my Sunday recording up on Wednesday like the normal day, I waited till Friday. Tomorrow, a new video drops, and it will be an installation of an air fuel ratio gauge on Project Low Fairmont. As far as what I'm working on this coming weekend, I guess it's probably time to stop making up excuses and time to finally put the upgraded intercooler on the wife's EcoBoost Mustang. But Jason, before we get to Shawn and John about their upcoming content, what do you have coming on Olde Carr Guy?
A couple of things. Everything lately seems to be fuel related. So you guys all know that I was having an issue with the fuel on Dale the truck. Every time I put the brakes on with less than half a tank, it would stall out just because the fuel was running away from the pickup. Got that fixed. And also all my parts finally came in for the Yugo. So we're getting the gas tank back together, the sending unit, putting everything up in there. We're going to fill the tank and get that thing out for its first drive. Really looking forward to that, getting that thing out on the road and exhausting all 57 horsepower of that beast.
Nice.
John and Shawn, what do you guys got coming up for interviews that you may or may not want to share? I don't know. Maybe there's something you want us to give a sneak peek to some upcoming interviews.
We've got Justin Dugan with
go ahead.
Yeah, we've got quite a few interviews coming up. We got a big one coming up soon that we'll keep under our hat for the time being, and you just have to check our channel. And
yeah, we've got a lot of stuff in the can that we can't exactly talk about just yet.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be so secretive, but we've got a couple things that are pretty big, and some other bigger things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
don't want to be vague, but
not a name dropper.
Yeah, Just check us on social media. You'll see it.
Yeah. While I've got a hot mic here. National Get Out and Drive Day is October 3rd, 2021, and you can sign up at nationalgetoutanddriveday.com. And you'll get a sticker. It has a little form to fill out and everything. It isn't a show. It isn't something you have to go to. It's a day like National Ice Cream Day. Have fun.
Right.
It is. You don't have to have an old car. You don't have to have anything. Get out and drive. Have fun. Take it with the family. Go road trip. Do something. All we ask is either send it to us directly or tag your videos. Hashtag National Get Out and Drive Day.
Yeah, videos or pictures. Even if it's just a minivan to take the family out for ice cream, just go out for a Sunday drive.
Right.
If you got a hot rod, take the hot rod. If you got a family van, whatever you got.
Yep. October 3rd, 2021.
Yep.
Both of our mics come off mute there at the same time because one of us wanted to talk. But I just wanted to also put out there too, as if you guys do follow me on social media, if you don't, you should be. Something big is coming to the channel. I've been announcing that. It is something that I'm keeping hush hush. So I'm hoping to have that video out on Friday. Big news, something big coming to the channel. So make sure you guys tune into that.
Nice.
I think that's everything that I have.
It is probably a second Yugo.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want a divorce right now, guys. I'm sorry. The first Yugo was a hard one, so 2 would be pushing it. So,
nice.
I could only imagine.
Right.
Yes, exactly. So I want to thank you guys for. It can't follow you home.
Nice.
Usually it's broke down somewhere. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys a little bit and understanding what goes on behind the scenes and who is John and Shawn from Get Out and Drive. I appreciate you guys taking time out and being a part of the Car Guy and SIXFAN show. Thank you so much. And I enjoy listening to your guys' podcast, and I can't wait for the next
Thank
one
you.
and all the big secrets that you're keeping.
Nice. Let us know what drives you.
Yes, exactly. So, Grant, why don't you go ahead and take us home?
Yeah, we'll do. But just real quick before we do that, just if Shawn and John, you guys want to throw out your Instagram handles if the crowd wants to follow you over on Instagram, not just here on YouTube, where's the best way for them to follow you to?
Get out and drive on Instagram, Facebook. We got a Facebook page. We got a Facebook group. We're on YouTube. Me on Instagram. I'm Mr. Sedan Man. I'm also Steelies and Dogs. And we also have Get Drive Gear on Instagram where you can buy apparel.
Yep. And I am on social media as John at Get Out and Drive on Facebook, and on Instagram I am Custom Car Nerd. Also, we have National Get Out and Drive Day, and definitely go over to our website, getoutanddrive.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a new thing called Speak Pipe. You can record messages and send them to us.
Yeah. So somebody comes up with a question or a comment
Right.
after the show.
Yeah, after your show or
You
whatever.
go to our website.
Yep.
Scroll down to the bottom, and you can actually send us a message.
Yeah. Hit that thing. It records your message, and we'll get an email, and we'll probably play them on the air.
Yeah. Depending on how
How
bad it is.
scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. I'm scared.
I think it'll be fun.
That gives me an idea.
Well,
Yes.
Jason's
Speak
dog.
pipe. Yep.
Jason's dog is barking, which is our cue to shut it down. Thanks again to the
Nice.
Get Out and Drive crew. For all of us here at the Car Guy and Six Fan Show, not just me, but I just want to say thanks to all of our Six fans out there. Thanks for watching.
Cool.